Hey y'all, welcome back. These notes are for March the 30th. This will be due on April 1st. Okay, so we are learning how to find the area of a regular polygon. Remember, if it's regular, that means that all the sides are going to be the same, like an equilateral triangle, a square. Anything that's past that is just called a regular polygon, a regular hexagon, regular whatever. Okay, so these are the parts that we need to know. The distance from the center of the polygon to any side is called an apothem. Okay, so that's going to represent the A in your formula. That's from the center to a side, not the center to a vertice. From a center to the vertex of a regular polygon is the radius. Just like a circle, that's why they drew that dash circle around there. So that would be the radius of a circle because those vertices are going to sit on that circle. So if you go from the center to a vertice, that's the radius. You can see your formula doesn't require the radius, but we will use the radius because the apothem and the radius create a right triangle. Using what we know about right triangles, whether it's 30, 60, 90, or our SOHCAHTOA, we'll be able to find the other sides, whatever's missing, so that we can find the perimeter, because you also have to have the perimeter of your image. So here we go. Let's look at some. These first two examples have all of the information that we need given, so that's so nice. Again, these are regular polygons. So if this side is 24.2, this is 24.2, this is 24.2. So all of those are going to be the same. So our A is going to be 7 because that's from the center to a side. Then we need our perimeter. So the perimeter, I'm going to get my calculator out, is going to be 24.2 times 3, which is 72.6. Once I have all that information, I just plug it into the area formula. Area equals 1/2 AP. So 1/2, 7 times 72.6. If you are using your calculator at home, you'll probably just want to use 0.5 because that's what 1/2 is. 7, 72.6. And ta-da, our answer is 254.1. That is again feet, and it's still squared because we're dealing with area. So that would be my answer. So it's very easy if you have all of the information given. You'll also notice I didn't need the radius. Okay, I didn't even draw the radius on this one because I was able to find the perimeter and the apothem. So if you've got that information, you don't really need the radius. Just like with this one. We know our side is 13.1. Well, I don't want to write 13.1 out that many times. What I need to know is how many sides this polygon has. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. What do we call that? An octagon? Okay, so we've got 8 sides. Each side is 13.1. So that means, well, let's do A first. A is 16. My perimeter is going to be 13.3. And I'm multiplying that times 8 because there are 8 sides. So that's going to be 106.4. That's my perimeter. So if you know one side of your polygon, just multiply it by the number of sides that you have on that polygon, and that will give you your perimeter. Then I just plug it in. 1/2, 16 times 106.4. Again, you can just put 0.5 times 16 times 106.4. 851.2. And that is centimeters squared. That's it. Just that easy. Now, sometimes you don't have all of your pieces, okay? So they don't give you the apothem or they don't give you the perimeter or whatever it is, so you have to figure out those things. Here's your steps to doing that. It says create a right triangle by drawing the apothem and the radius, so you'll need both of those pieces. Then it says find the measure of the interior angle. To do that, you're going to be using that formula that we learned previous to us leaving. So it says where the radius intersects the vertex, use the interior sum formula, then divide by n, which is the number of sides, then divide by 2 because it's been divided by that radius. Then it says use your special right triangle or trig to find the side lengths. Okay, these are your steps you can come back to. I'm going to show you how to work each step. Our notes today have 4 examples of each one. Most of you aren't watching these videos, so I'm going to just do a couple of each ones to kind of like speed this up. So maybe if you'll watch the first, I don't know, couple minutes, 10 minutes or so, you'll be able to do this. And then I can come back and work the other one. So the first 4. All right, you guys, the first 4 give us the apothem, okay? What we don't have is the side measurements. So we are going to have to find that making a right triangle. So I'm going to draw my radius, okay? Now, there's my radius. I'm going to find that measurement. That creates a right triangle. The first thing that I need to know, though, is the degrees of this entire image, this entire polygon. So I need to know the number of sides. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So I'm going to use my sum, which is going to tell me to do 6 minus 2 times 180. 4 times 180 is what? I don't remember. 4 times 180 is 720. So that's the entire degrees. Now to find each angle, I'm going to divide that by the sides. Well, there are 6. So that means every angle is going to be 120. So each of those angles are going to be 120 degrees. Well, this one has been divided in half. So that means this one is actually 60 degrees. So we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. If you remember about 30, 60, 90, if this is 30 degrees up here, that means across from 30 is x, across from 60 is 2x, and across from our right angle is x square roots of 3. I think that's right. Okay, I'm glad I checked because I'm wrong. Okay, so across from the 90 degree angle is 2x, and then across from the 60 is x square roots of 3. So that's my bad. So this is x square roots of 3, and this is 2x. Okay, that's important to get those correct. All right, so we know the leg. So we know that 5 equals x square roots of 3. So x square roots of 3 equals 5. Well, what we need to know is x. So I'm dividing by the square root of 3. Now, there's no need for me to rationalize the denominator. Okay, we're working with decimals, so I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to say 5 divided by the square roots of 3. That gives me 2.88, and I am going to round that to 2.89. So 2.89. Now, that's this little segment. So to get the whole entire side, I would need that again, 2.89. So I'm going to take that 2.89 and I'm going to multiply it by 2. That tells me that the side is going to be 5.78. This side is 5.78. All of the sides are 5.78. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 5.78 times 6 because there are 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That gives me a perimeter of 34.68. Okay, my A was 5. That was given information. And now that I have the given information, I just do 1/2 AP. So 1/2 5 times 34.68. So that's 0.5 times 5 times 34.68. That gives me 86.4. And that is the area. I'm sorry, 86.7. And what are we dealing with? Meters squared. So, recap what I just did because I'm about to go to the next type. If you don't have the other information, I didn't even need the radius. I didn't find it. It wasn't important to me. All I needed was the x of this. So I used my 30, 60, 90. 5 was the leg. The leg is x squared roots of 3. I divided by the square root of 3 to get x by itself. X is the short leg. So I put it there, doubled it. That gave me 5.78. Then I was able to find the perimeter, work the problem out. I'll come back at the end of the video and work out some more of these, but I'm trying to move a little quicker so the people that don't want to watch all of this don't have to. Okay, so now the next 4, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Lily, are you okay? Sorry, my child just threw herself across the room. Okay, so the next ones we are going to draw. I need like a credit card. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go. Back at it. I got my credit card, Rhino card from one of my sweet kiddos for Christmas. You are going to draw the apothem and the radius. Now your radius goes to the vertex, so I'm going to do that first. Your apothem just goes to any of the sides, so I'm going to draw straight down to this one. Now, they told us that that side was 8. So if this side is 8, half of it is going to be 4. Okay, so that means this is 4. Now, I have the leg of a triangle. The first thing that I need to know is what is the sum of my interior angles. So that is going to be the number of sides minus 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minus 2 times 180. So that's 3 times 180. I wish y'all were here to do this math for me quickly. I'm just not good at mental math. 3 times 180 is 540. Now, that's the entire shape. This is regular polygon, so I'm going to just divide by 5 because there are 5 sides. 540 divided by 5 gives me 108. 108. That's the degrees of the entire angle, but we only have half of that. So we take that 108, and again, we divide it by 2. That gives us 54. That means this angle here is 54. So this is not a 30, 60, 90. We're going to be using trig to do this. What we are looking for is the A. I need the apothem. Okay? So I have the side that is right beside my angle. If you remember about sine, cosine, and tangent, it's dealing with opposite over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse, or opposite over adjacent. So for this one, and I shouldn't have used A because that's going to be confusing. Let me just put X here so that's not confusing. So we are looking for X, which is the opposite of this angle, and we know the adjacent. So if we have the opposite and adjacent, we're dealing with tangent. So tangent of 54 is going to equal X over 4 because tangent is the TOA. SOHCAHTOA. Remember? SOHCAHTOA. So we have opposite over adjacent. The opposite is X. The adjacent is 4. Okay? Now, if 4 is on the bottom, to get our X, all I have to do is multiply by 4. And then type that in my calculator. 4 tangent 54 equals X. Okay? 4 tangent 54. That's 5.51 is what that would be. So X equals 5.51. 5.51, or you could even just say 5.5. That is going to be my x, which is the apothem. So my A is 5.5. My perimeter is going to be 8 times 5, because there are 5 sides. 8 times 5 is 40. Then you just plug it in the area formula out of space. So I'm going to come up here above it. Area equals half of the A, which is 5.5, times the perimeter, which is 40. So 0.5 times 5.5 times 40. That equals 110. So the area is 110 inches squared. So that's how you would do it if you are missing the apothem. Okay, you're still using that right triangle. This one we just used SOHCAHTOA because that's what we were given. Okay, the next four down here below are given us the radius. You can see each one of these connects to a vertice, which means they are the radius. So we need to draw the apothem. So just to be clear, that 3 belongs with that. So you would draw your apothem for each of these. Let me come to another side. The apothem is going from the center to the side, and it is the midpoint. So you're going like to the midpoint. And I'm just kind of getting as close as I can to what is the midpoint. And that is what creates your little right triangle. Okay, so I drew all of those, which are the apothems. Now, we have the hypotenuse this time. What we need is the side measurement, so we can find the perimeter, and we also need the apothem. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out how many degrees are in this shape. This one's kind of an obvious. It's a square, so you know it's going to be 90, but I'm still going to prove it to you. So to find the sum, you do the sides minus 2 times 180. So that's 2 times 180, which means this whole thing has 360 degrees in it. You take that 360, you divide by 4, which is going to give us 90. So you know each of those has 90, which means this whole thing is 90. So the little portion of this is 45. So this is what we call a 45, 45, 90. So this is x, x, and x square roots of 2. Okay? Now, we know the hypotenuse. We know the hypotenuse is 3. Well, that's x square roots of 2. So I'm going to say x square roots of 2 is equivalent to 3. I need to know x. So I would divide by the square root of 2. Remember, there's no need to rationalize the denominator. We're just going to be dealing with decimals. So we do 3 divided by the square root of 2. That gives us 2.12. Okay, so 2.12 is going to be x. Well, for this one, x is both of those, so that's awesome. You use that one thing to find both of the pieces that we needed. Now, that is the apothem. So A equals 2.12. Now we need the perimeter. This is 2.12, so we have to double it to get the whole entire side. So 2.12 times 2 is 4.24. So that's going to be one of the sides. To find the perimeter, I'm just going to take that and multiply by 4. So my perimeter is 16.96. And we just plug it in. A equals 1/2. A, which is 2.12. Perimeter is 16.96. 0.5 times 2.12 times 16.96. That equals a perimeter of 17.98 miles squared. So that's how it works with a 30, 60, 90. So you've seen me do 30, 60, 90. You've seen me use tangent, and you've also seen me do a 45, 45, 90. I'm going to continue to work out some more of these, but if you've got what you need and you're ready to start your worksheet, that's fine. Just make sure you're showing your work so I can see how you completed each one. I really want to do number 13 with you because you have to use 2 types of trig. So I want you to see that one. So here we go. We know the radius is 7, which is the hypotenuse of our right triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm first of all going to find my degrees. I need to know the number of sides. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I count that out right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's right. So 8 minus 2 times 180. That's 6 times 180, which is going to give me 6 times 180 is 1,080, and I'm going to divide that, divided by 8 because there are 8 sides. That gives me 135. So every one of those is 135 as the whole thing. So then we take that and divide that by 2, which means this part right here is going to be 67.5. Now, you cannot do 30, 60, 90 or 45, 45, 90, so you have to use trig. So, we know the hypotenuse is what we know. So, if we know the hypotenuse, SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so knowing SOHCAHTOA, if we know the hypotenuse, that means that we can use sine and cosine because that includes the hypotenuse. To find the opposite, which would be my apothem, okay, this is my opposite side here, I would do sine. So the sine of 67.5 is the opposite, which is unknown, over the hypotenuse, which is 7. That is going to solve for this opposite side over here, which is my apothem. Okay, to solve for x, I multiply by 7. 7 times the sine of 67.5 equals x. All right, 7 times the sine of 67.5 is 6.467, so that's going to be 6.47. X equals 6.47. That is my apothem. That's the A. Okay. Now I need to find the adjacent side, which is right beside that angle, so I have to do cosine. So I'm going to do the cosine of 67.5, that's going to be the adjacent, which is my unknown, over the hypotenuse, which is 7. So I need to multiply by 7. 7 cosine of 67.5 equals x. 7 cosine of 67.5, that's going to give me 2.678, so 2.68. X equals 2.68. That would be the little piece. So again, I would have to double it to get the whole side. So multiply by, well, let me put it in here. 2.68 times 2. That's going to tell me that my side is 5.36. To get the perimeter, I have to multiply that times 8. That gives me a perimeter of 42.88. My apothem is 6.47, so the area is going to be 1/2 6.47 times 42.88. Plug it in your calculator. Half of 6.47, and my perimeter is 42.88. That equals 138.72 millimeters squared. So that's using sine and cosine because we were given the hypotenuse. So to do this, it all depends on what you've been given, whether you're given the apothem or whether you're given the side measurement, what you've got. If they give you the side measurement, let me come back up here to number 8. If they give you the side measurement, remember the apothem is going to divide that in half. So if this is 22, that means this is going to be 11. Okay, so you already have that side measurement. You can find your perimeter because you just have to multiply 22 times the number of sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 22 times 6 is going to give you 132 yards. That's your perimeter. You have to find the apothem. Remember, to do that, you have to start out by finding the degrees. So I need the sum of this entire thing. We just talked about the fact that there are 6 sides. So that's going to be 4 times 180, which I believe is 540. No, it's not. 4 times 180 is going to be 720. Okay, and then I'm going to take that 720, I'm going to divide by 6. That gives me 120, which means that is going to be 60 degrees. So now you've got another 30, 60, 90 triangle, and so you can use what you know. Well, this is going to be x, because remember I messed this up just a second ago. This is my 30, so across from 30 is x. Across from the hypotenuse is 2x. Across from 60 is x square roots of 3. Now, 22, we took half of that, so x equals 11, which is awesome. That's there. So to get our other leg, which is the apothem, it's going to be 11 square roots of 3. Now, we haven't been using radicals this whole time. I would not. I would just go ahead and plug that in your calculator and get it the decimal, which is going to be 19.05. So that is going to be your apothem. 19.05 is your apothem. Then you would just plug it in. Plug it in your calculator. So I hope that this is not too difficult. The hardest part is going to be remembering the 30, 60, 90 triangles and your trig. So if you have questions, reach out to me, let me know. I'm already at 28 minutes, so I'm sure half of you have quit watching at this point. If you've made it this far, you're amazing. I love you. I hope that y'all are safe and healthy, and I will see you soon.